Yeah.
Are we live? Oh my goodness. What's up, everybody? This is the Legacy FHP coming at you. And we are live and in person. And this is kind of a ghetto stream. We're just kind of trying to get this up, and we didn't plan too much. But we're all, not all of us are here, but a couple of us are here out in California. So yeah, this is the Contact in the Desert pre-stream. We didn't mention it before, but we are going to be there. That's the biggest UFO conference on the planet. I think so. Probably the biggest, most popular as far as U.S. North America goes.
We're gonna be there. It'll be the biggest one.
Yeah. Whichever ones we're at, it's gonna be the biggest one. But yeah, I'm here with Dedrick and Drew. Say hi, Drew.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, what's up, guys?
We got baby Dedrick here too.
Yeah, we got a special guest.
D3.
Holding it down for the youthful souls. Wants to make sure there's 4-year-old representation. So shout out to them.
Should we get some clothes on for him? He's kind of just rolling around in his underwear.
Put on some clothes. Dedrick. Well, hey Dedrick. Hey Dedrick. You need to listen. You need to go put on clothes, okay? Just listen to me. Because we're online right now. Everybody can see you, and you don't have any clothes on, so you need to go put clothes on. Yeah. So shout out to all the viewers out there. Hopefully you guys can hear us just fine. I'm pretty sure you should be able to. But what it do? What's going on, everybody? Contact in the Desert pre-stream. Can you monitor the audio from one of the phones and see what
Yeah.
it sound like?
Yes.
Sorry, guys.
All right.
Obviously trying to, it's not a live stream without the audio. Technical difficulties.
All right, D-Bake. So, paid event, Giant Rock and Integratron tour with Eric Rankin and Michelle Anderson.
What are you looking at?
Are you going?
Integratron? Is it there?
Yeah,
At Contact?
says it is.
Oh, okay. What is an
12:30 to
Integratron?
6 p.m. The Integratron, Amber was trying to get me to go to this. It's a room set up to like harness starlight and energy, and you meditate in it.
What?
Look up Integratron on your phone, because I'm probably butchering it. Amber tried to get me to go to this forever. Never ended up getting a chance to do it, but
Integratron. It sounds like something that they use in like some dystopian civilization to see what my Phaeton levels are.
I think this is one of those things where a guy said he got the design from an alien or something like that, where
Really?
it wasn't inspired by himself, like he was inspired by
Oh,
something.
okay. Yes, I've heard of this before. Okay, I have heard of the Integratron. Are you getting audio, Taylor, or no?
I wish I had like a little laptop to look things up, but yeah, so that's Thursday between 12:30 to 6 p.m. So depending on how much time you got, it
Pretty good. You could go up, but
Okay.
I don't know where you change the levels at.
own transportation required.
Yeah.
Are you
Control levels in OBS, or you go through voice?
I'm actually just adjusting gain on Focusrite.
Oh,
My gain was a little bit low, so I just turned it up.
so if you guys are
What it do?
catching
Check.
a ride with the Rancho group,
Yeah.
it says own transportation required. So it is nearby as the Integratron, which is
Okay.
what I thought, because I don't think it's a movable like setup.
No, it's not mobile.
No,
A
it's not a
mobile
mobile
Integratron.
Integratron. So that would be cool.
Well, they're slacking. The Legacy's gonna have a mobile Integratron in the future. But how's the ISO looking? Is it good? Not too bad. Image, whatever. I mean, it is a little ghetto stream. I ain't tripping. You can crank the ISO if you want a little bit.
Who is Daniel Sheehan?
Daniel Sheen?
Oh, you don't know?
Daniel Sheehan? Who is
It's spelled-
Danielle Sheehan?
It's spelled Sheehan.
Yeah, he's an OG in the game. He's
Yeah.
like Bob Lazar back in those days, George Norrie. You know, the OGs. He's been around for a minute.
Is he a contactee type dude?
No, he's a lawyer.
What?
He's helping Congress, and he's representing whistleblowers.
Wow, that would be a cool one.
Yep. JJ Hurtak's at 245. We're gonna see if he's an actual celestial
He's
being.
2 to 250, so
2 to
make sure you're
250,
not
that's
late
what
on
it
that one. And
Mhm.
that is also on
Yeah, if you can punch him a little bit. There you
Thursday.
go. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Thursday 2 to 2:50. So you go straight
On
from
the left side, there's a knob. Yeah, there's a knob on the left side underneath it. See it? Yeah.
So you're going straight from Daniel Sheehan into JJ's thing.
I guess so.
No, yeah, that's the schedule. I'm just reading the schedule to show you what's like.
Drew's our tour manager.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be there. Mitch Randall, AI 101, Introduction to AI in Our World.
That sounds scary.
Yeah, that seems like it's gonna be a doomer one.
Yeah. Come out of there all crying and sad.
Yeah.
Oh, it's exciting. This is the first time I've ever. This is crazy. I mean, shout out to the Urantia Fellowship. They're the ones who are hooking us up with this trip to Contact in the Desert.
Yeah.
Apparently, they like our YouTube channel enough to be like, we want you to represent us in the booth. So we decided to go. My brother Tay Chilla, who's out of frame and setting up the audio, you know him. He's with us all the time. He's coming with us. Drew, unfortunately, has to work for the Water Lords. He's a slave to the Water Empire, and we're trying to free him soon, but he has obligations and duties. The world needs water. Yeah. If we don't got water, we'll all die, right? Simple as that. You're 75% water. We came out of water. We evolved out of the salt water. you know. So obviously it's important. And when the legacy builds our future civilization, we're going to need to be able to give people drinks. So when you want to join that future utopian society, we're going to need a water guy. That's your guy right there.
Yeah.
And you need water to make beer too.
So speaking about you guys going with the Urantia group, what do you think the Urantia group's consensus is on a event like this? What do you think their thoughts are about something like this, funding it and going to something like this, and like their general?
Great question. The Urantia community is kind of split over this topic. A lot of them take offense when you try to mix physical ET crafts with the revelation, and they think that's like you're tainting the water, you're tainting the well, you know, because they think everything is only spiritual, everything is only, you know, this, because the Urantia book's written in a beautiful way for the Judeo-Christian mind, and they see it through this biblical lens, and everything is angelic and benevolent. But the second you mix it with ETs, they're like, no, you shouldn't do that. But you guys know from this channel, we take a different approach, and we think that the ET craft, or all of the UAP phenomenon that you're seeing in current society, is directly related to the beings and the situation that the Urantia book details. So we don't think there is like any bad beef between the two concepts. We think they're reconcilable. And honestly, I'm surprised that there's Urantia book readers who aren't taking this opportunity to like make steps forward in the kingdom, because you see this shit happening. What the Urantia book's talking about, we say it all the time, the Urantia book is the highest, most detailed classification of extraterrestrial beings known to mankind. So if we have that, and then we see the UAP appear in the news, we should be excited and be like, oh, this is our way, this is our in to inject the message. But we read the mini messenger and people are like, how dare you sully the Urantia message with this ET mumbo jumbo. So the Urantia community is split. Thankfully, we're part of the outreach community, which is composed of a little bit more progressive minds who kind of think more like us. But for the most part, I think the community is kind of split. I don't think it's like you'd think they'd be all into the ETs, but
yeah. Well, I guess my kind of overview on why that is that there's a sort of a general opinion that seems to be kind of mainstream, that when you read the Urantia book, that somehow other 3D alien species, which it says exists, there's a whole paper in the Urantia book called Government on a Neighboring Planet, and it talks about another world that went into quarantine rebellion early on, during the Lucifer rebellion stage.
aliens are
sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. Dedrick's kid is interjecting. But okay, so yeah, to kind of rewind, like, it's de facto Urantia book says there are many other like 3D inhabited planets. Like if we had a spaceship, we can go there, we can land. Like these are other animal origin kind of beings. and it says that exists. However, the opinion about are those other species allowed to visit us, a lot of Urantia book readers seem to think that no, they're not allowed because the Earth is in a quarantine, that it's that the interaction with Earth and other species is like limited or like gatekept somehow. Whereas my opinion is that all of 3D time space is basically like one big sandbox, and like all the species are allowed to meet each other on their own terms, by their own free will. And so I don't think that the angelic hierarchies really kind of step in too hard to like prevent that from happening, unless it would like entirely derail an entire civilization. It's to me, it's the same concept and the same reasoning why the spiritual hierarchies do not come in and prevent physical wars from happening. And it's because that's the evolutionary species on a planet. That's their legacy. They have to learn how to go beyond war. They have to learn how to work together. No amount of like outside interference is just going to stop that from happening. So yeah, I think aliens are pretty free to access the planet. I think though that the, I guess, positive, good intentioned, not kind of self-serving extraterrestrials, you could say, those with a higher spiritual intelligence or spiritual evolution, I do think that they tend to hang back more, and not abridge the free will of the lower planets who are not interstellar yet. I do subscribe to that kind of concept. But yeah, those are kind of the thoughts that kind of float around in my head when I kind of hear these topics. But I don't know, Drew, do you have any ideas or any preferences on this?
Back to like the question I posed, and I guess I posed that question because I feel like the Urantia group, and we love the Urantia books, so this isn't coming as an attack, but I feel like they polarize the people that they could reach out to. They either go down this single path of like a Judeo-Christian style, and they steer as far away as they can from any talk of aliens in the book because they're appealing to an older crowd who isn't as open to those types of concepts or see them as demonic.
Yeah.
And if you flip that and only appeal to the kind of alien esoteric side that they portray, you limit yourself to like a younger crowd. And not only younger crowd, I'm sure other people are open to it, but it seems that way. So I'm wondering
So you're
if
saying
they
the
finally
ET angle limits yourself to the younger crowd?
I think so. And they don't, I don't think they did this on purpose, or maybe they've thought about it and haven't figured out an answer to it yet, but they need to appeal to both sides at the same time and realize that you can believe in aliens and hold Christian ideals or non-Christian ideals, hold religious values and ideals, and still talk about aliens. They're not two separate conversations. They can be talked about at the same time.
So you're saying aliens are Christians?
Definitely not. But and we're not Christians. We just take information and we keep building upon our values and beliefs. And I think that's just lost. And you kind of lose momentum in gaining people and understanding the concepts in this book when the first thing you can Google is Urantia book, and what comes up is like alien eugenics. So the first thing, and I could see why they did it. They're like, okay, I guess we're not going to talk about any parts of this book that have to do with aliens or the process of like the circle of life.
Yeah, it seems like they try to steer away from the alien concept, right?
They just need to, and I wouldn't say embrace is the right word. They need to break it down. They just need to break it down so it doesn't sound so crazy and taboo to like what cultural beliefs are in America and around the world, I guess. But
yeah, and I almost feel like because the Urantia book the substrate comes from a Judeo-Christian background, you get that sentiment a lot in the Christian background. Is if you mention aliens, it's like, ooh, taboo, demonic. And I feel like some of that transferred into the Urantia community, if that makes sense. Unfortunately. Yeah.
The other part of this is that there's almost two separate things: the searching for spiritual truths and searching for like hard truths about reality, and sort of like somewhat the government cover-up conspiracy of aliens, which the whistleblowers are now telling us is like very real for the past 60, 80 years. And so, when these two worlds collide in one book, which the Urantia book does, it acknowledges all these other alien races. It talks about the non-human sort of life programs that actually seeded life on Earth and also enhanced and changed our genetics over time. Like it taps into that ancient aliens thing without using those terms. Like the amount of answers that it can kind of give to create a cohesive story is profound, but like to actually tie it in. So I guess let me back up. I'm saying like the idea that alien races have been visiting here for a long time and even left like physical craft behind is almost it's so shocking, even if you're reading something like the Urantia book that says that these other civilizations exist. And the reason it's so shocking is that like it is 100% outside of our daily lives. And it's partly because it's been so secret. All this knowledge has been so secret, locked up in military, like nuclear level secrecy for all this time. And there's also been a disinformation like program to make the public think that it's basically just like crazy to believe in these things, or that they're just Hollywood sci-fi concepts. So like those are the things that you're kind of fighting against, even when you have a spiritual book in front of you that's like, yeah, there's like 10,000 other planets just in your system, inhabited planets. Yeah, so I think it's just so shocking because it seems so at odds with our daily experience.
Yeah, and I think like it just shows you the big gulf in between physical and spiritual and mental in our own perception as humans on Earth. Like for some reason it seems like they're just arguing over the fact that they don't like the fact that they're physical beings and physical crafts. They're totally willing to accept the exact same concepts, but as long as you make them angelic or light beings or interdimensional, they just like, I feel like they have a quib with physical crafts and UFOs being here. Like I said, it shows the discrepancy. Like their mind can't fill the gaps in between these concepts they read in the book and then like translate them into physicality. The only way they can do that is by keeping it abstract, as it's not physical craft. They're these abstract things, but they're real, but you can't see them. Like for them, it almost seems like it takes a leap to bring it into physical reality. But the Urantia book, it states that even on the 7 sacred spheres of paradise, the 7 first planets that surround the center trinity, they're physical spheres, and that all spiritual beings have to work in the physical time-space reality. So it's like, where's the line at when it comes to ET craft or not? That's what I'm saying. Like it seems like that's if they're getting
blurry line.
Yeah, if you're getting hung up on that, then I don't know. You need to look in the mirror and do some soul searching, because like, why the fuck does it matter if they're an ET craft or if they're not? Or if there's some that have ET craft that are in this big holding pattern with other Merkabas that aren't physical, Like we know that physical beings work with spiritual beings hand in hand, side by side. So it's like, I'm sure if you met the cosmic government of Michael, that legion would consist of X amount of physical UFO crafts, right? So like, I don't know what the whole
shout out to Chris Bledsoe.
Nope.
This is kind of a separate topic, but Chris is going to be at the at Contact in the Desert as a speaker, and he's got some very interesting. He's sort of the link between the divine spiritual government and also the 3D UFO alien contact. He's like he's a modern contactee, and it's like very compelling. If you haven't read his story, check out his book UFO of God. Also, his son, I think his name is Ryan Bledsoe, has a podcast. Definitely check that out. Shout out to the Bledsoes for keeping it real, passing on an important message about the existence of other life in the universe, and that it's not all bad, that it's not something that we should entirely be fearing, as some of the government kind of reports might try and kind of pitch it to you. We totally kind of vibe with his message, but there is a keen balance that we're trying to strike here, in that, like, in the UFO community, sometimes there's people that are like, there's fear mongering about aliens because of ideas like abduction and stuff, which like is valid. But then the total lack of a spiritual opinion about how these beings fit into the cosmos, it kind of feeds that fear narrative. And so if you kind of come in with the right kind of worldview, and universe view is, I guess, what you could call it, you can kind of see like, oh, there's a bunch of things at play, and we're right in the mix. So, yeah.
It's not fair to pigeonhole it one way or the other. I mean, we live in duality. There's going to be good and bad, and I would almost go conspiracy brain that the abduction phenomena is emphasized more because of how scary it is, and the reality of it is pretty traumatizing, and it does happen. But to say there is no positive sides to anything with that matter is very far from the truth as well.
Are abductions CIA propaganda to get us afraid, or are they?
I would say it's both. I would say you can't.
Are they good or the bad?
I mean,
good abductions. Why the fuck? Are
Neutral. I would say neutral.
When a Scottish farmer has 60 sheep and their eyes are pulled out and their anuses are cleared out, you can't say that's a positive thing.
Have you heard what Jacques Vallée be saying? He's saying that those are like military special operations to cause fear in the public.
Maybe, but how do they do human mutilations the same way, like laser cut devices?
You're right.
Well, and if that is done by humans, if it is done by humans, it's the craziest, most like technologically advanced gaslighting they've ever done, and good job on them. But I'm agreeing with Taylor, saying there has to be positive experiences too, and you probably don't hear about them as much because the path to spiritual. No, like just relayed information, like JJ Hurtak. JJ Hurtak would be a great example.
I'm pretty dark there, guys.
JJ Hurtak would be a great example of an alien experience that is completely positive, as far as we know. And
it could be a front.
And it would be nice to talk to JJ about it and see JJ's point of view, because it sounds almost like an alien abduction, except he basically hallucinated out of his body or left his body and transfer his consciousness. So I mean, you could take that as abduction almost if you were pulled out of your conscious reality. So I think it's such a gray line, but whoa, dude. But yeah, so it's not black and white. There's everything in between, and it's kind of your job and as a human to decipher through the minutia and form your own opinion, and don't lean too crazy one way or the other about it. But I think, and this is kind of what I was asking with my first question, I just wanted to emphasize it, is why Urantia, the group or entity that's running this book and page, they've stayed away from it for so long when they could have been kind of a light shined on positive sides of this aspect and phenomena, right?
Standard and authority.
Right, and this is a good leap, and so I've kind of dug at him in the beginning of what I was saying, but to circle back, this is a good first baby steps
circle back and touch base,
into like into basically like getting your foot in the door with this type of crowd community and phenomena. And what they should be doing is have a booth, and they should be at these type of conventions speaking about what this book talks about as far as alien phenomena.
That's a good idea, dude. And we should call the fellowship and be like, we need a booth at Contact.
So it's good that they're going out there and getting their feelers out and seeing it and showing that they're there. But the next step eventually should be to have people represent their community in a light that sheds a different aspect on alien phenomena and what is considered alien phenomena, like the Adam and Eve mission, the Caligastia missions, and this sounds crazy if you don't listen to your rancher, but these things would be looked at to a human.
Crazy if you don't listen to your
These things would be looked at as alien phenomena to
They
a
are.
human on Earth
Yes.
at the time. They're putting a perspective in the book to make it sound like it's normal almost, but this is like alien phenomena.
Yeah. And they're using our mythos and
Right.
and
And they
stories
appear to
tell
you
it.
in your humanoid form that
Yeah.
you can relate to. But other than that, it's
You need to make more time on Sundays, Drew.
Yeah.
You need to make more time on Sundays. 'Cause
finishing
it's
this
exactly what we're
last
talking
test
about.
and then
yeah.
I'll be back. So
Yeah. Yeah,
a lot
dude.
of water distribution tests. But
Yeah, say bye to the people.
yeah, I'll be around in the future. These guys are gonna have a bunch of fun at Contact in the Desert, and I can't wait to hear what they got to say when they come back. And I'm glad they're representing the Rancher book because we need young people with open minds representing it and deciphering through all this shit. So
Hell yeah. Drew got family obligations, so he's gonna be out right now.
Right.
We'll see him tomorrow. We're gonna come over to you tomorrow, and if we got time, we'll fucking crank out another one real quick.
I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yeah.
Word,
tell
word.
tell Amber no curfew tomorrow.
Okay.
All right. Sorry to blow you up on the live stream like that. I forgot he wears the pants. I mean, tell Amber. You know. Yeah. All right, brother. Love you.
I gotta tune into the live chat, see if we got anyone here.
What's up? We got. I don't think we have any viewers at the moment.
One watching.
One watching. Okay, that's what's up. Shout out to everybody. Well, this is a pre-contact stream. We're just having some fun right here. You know the deal. I think I'm gonna punch in a little bit on that now that we don't have Drew.
Yeah, for sure. There's a couple things we were just talking about there that I'd like to continue on. So, I guess level one, the abduction and medical experiments. So, I try and look at this like a little bit more neutral than maybe some other people. There's some wild stories for sure. Some wild stories for sure. But like at its core, I think that some of the civilizations that are doing some amount of like abductions of the human population, I guess there's different levels of intention behind it. Because some people are speculating that they're creating like genetic hybrids with humans in order to infiltrate human society. Some people say that they're just doing these genetic programs because their own genetic pool is sort of lacking. That's kind of the stories with the Greys, that they're trying to revive their genetic pool, that they've lost the ability to procreate in like a natural way, and that they're trying to use our DNA in order to assist their own species. And so like trying to take a step back and like look at the way that we operate as humans, just also studying like other plants and animals, like we would do if straight up, if humans were in space and we were visiting other inhabited planets with intelligent species, we would 100% try and like abduct some of them and like study their biology.
Oh yeah.
And that's sort of like just a sad fact of, I guess, 3D time space scarcity reality.
Sad fact. I mean, it's beautiful.
Well, it's
science.
it's about how you do it, I guess.
You're right.
A spiritual culture wouldn't like, necessarily just take somebody without their free will and erase their memories just so that they can kind of study them.
Yeah,
they
that's
might
messed up.
they might look at it kind of like clinically and kind of, I don't know, justify it in some way. But I don't think we should focus on like the fearful aspect of it. We obviously, as a human race, need to sort of like take up our power and like take sovereignty on this, because, that's not chill. We don't want our population being like lab rats. However, the first step to that I think is like, instead of just keeping this some big military secret, like we need to kind of get on the same page with, this is a reality. Like if people understand this is real, like we can start to mobilize as an entire planet.
Oh yeah.
And if if you think that we're not capable of that, I'm sorry that you just
again,
are
maybe.
jaded that you don't believe in humanity.
Yeah.
You know, I think the new guard with the whole UAP military program, they believe that, like, look, you don't think humanity can handle this, but we have to handle it. We can't just keep it a secret for forever. It's damaging us at this point, and
Yes.
other countries are, you know, they're getting involved too. Like, everyone's already involved
And it's-
except the public.
Yeah, and that's kind of sad. And that's you painted a beautiful picture. Exactly. Like if you withhold truth from someone, facts from someone, that's dirty. That's evil, you know? Linda Moulton Howe, I love how she says it. She says declassify reality. Reality's been classified since the early 1900s because of the UFO government interaction. And like if you saw somebody struggling out there, you know, to get food, and you knew how to fish, you should teach them how to fish so that person can keep getting food for them. If you knew that person was struggling and they don't know how to fish, but you knew how to fish and you just watched them from afar and observed them struggle until they died, that's, I don't know, it's borderline masochistic, evil, call it what you want. It's just a bad thing to do. And no human's better than another human. You know, if we have these mind, body, spirit practices that get us closer to the truth of reality, we must share them with our brothers and sisters. Freely you have received, freely you shall give. The words of Jesus. And it's like, we need to practice that. So no human has the right to withhold these celestial secrets from other humans. That's like withholding the fact or the technique of fishing from the starving person in the woods. I'm not saying there's consequences in heaven, but you could see how that is a negative way of thinking. And possibly when you get to the next level in your ascension career, you might have to address that. But withholding these truths, aka classifying reality, when this is a foundation part of reality, and that being needs to know this in order to function correctly. Again, I'm not an authority. I'm not saying that when you go up there, you're going to get judged based off it and there will be marks on your career, but human to human, we could both see that that's fucked up, dog. And there might be a consequence for it. So when these governments are classifying reality for X amount of time, they can only do it for X amount of time, because we both know from the Urantia book, unreal concepts can only exist in the universe for such a X amount of time right before they disappear, because the universe can't keep holding unreal concepts forever. It can only express eternal concepts. Eventually the unreal concepts fade away. What is that time frame and time lag? We're not here to debate that. It could be forever, but you get the concept I'm trying to say. So by having these type of conversations, and like Taylor said, the public being withheld from it from these military institutions, you have to realize that this will stop soon. And in order for us to get to baseline standard reality, because I don't know about you guys, I don't like believing in fairy tales. I don't like not knowing information. When I look at a setting or a situation, I want to know everything that's happening in it, because if a data point's missing, then every decision I make within that arena is going to be incorrect. And that's what's happening today with the withholding of these classification military subjects. So I know it sounds stupid, we're beating a dead horse, but these conversations are so important to get the public conscious of the fact that we are part of a galactic federation, and that it's time to start acting accordingly, and it's time to start changing every decision we make in time, space, and life. We need to start realizing we're a planetary mind, body, spirit complex, that when I choose to manipulate my fellow man, you know, overselling. If I'm a salesman and I want to oversell this guy on $100 because I make a profit, you know what I'm saying? All those little decisions, they compound, and that's what creates inertia in our society. If we can all realize that we're part of this galactic or this planetary mind, body, spirit complex, and every decision affects another brother or sister, affects another human being, we'll start to take those manipulative decisions away in total, and it will make our planet kind of sink more into that harmonious way. So that can only get done by having these conversations, by realizing that you're integrated into this state. You guys know what the fuck I'm talking about. Go buy a shirt.
Yeah, no, and I think we should be more believing in your fellow man's ability to rise to the task at hand. You know, the military is sort of, I guess you could say, made an executive decision that
We're not.
like that humanity will not rise to the responsibility of dealing with this truth. And and I think it's partly out of fear, their own fear. I mean, look, we got very experienced, capable people in the military, and I'm sure they're like scared shitless when it comes to this topic. Because as soon as they like start to interact it, whenever they have personal experiences, it blows them out of the water, and they can't I mean, it is kind of visceral. Even like you start to get into the psychic side of the UFO phenomenon, and it's shattering. And so I get that. I want to shout out that like there's people in the military, they're mostly acting out of fear. But what I want to kind of prop up here is that for anyone in that genre who might listen to this now or later, believe in the ability of your fellow man and woman to rise to the new truth that's of reality that is available. The truth that we are not alone. This will cause a catalyst within society, and the people that will rise up to start to tackle this challenge and take back our sovereignty as a planet are gonna really kind of blow you away, and you're gonna feel way less alone instead of feeling just super scared that you have military secrets that can never be spoken aloud or else you'll live in prison forever. The new society that we envision at the Legacy Foundation for Human Progress is one that recognizes the hard truths and raises up the next generation to actually tackle these and integrate them in our worldview, into our politics. We need to become ethical and spiritual and materially capable to maintain our resources on our planet in order to interact with these other civilizations in the cosmos and kind of become a part of the local federation, on the 3D level and all of that. But the basis of this, this is going to take generations, and we need to start first with the basic fact of declassifying reality.
Amen.
So,
yeah. And to all those people, like you were saying, the whistleblowers and the military people who are there firsthand, and you're like, God damn, they got a boot on my neck. They're going to kill my family if I say anything. They're going to kill me. I know that was a dark picture. Sorry about that. But I'm saying is, and I'm not saying this is what's going to happen. I just want to give you a mental picture that will give you courage during these times. A midwayer or a celestial being. It says Megazord. Whoa! Here, buddy, we're doing a podcast right now, so you gotta walk around. That says it too. So here, go over there right now, please. Thank you. So if you're one of these military whistleblowers that has firsthand accounts of this, and we need to declassify reality, I want to remind you of a story in the Urantia book itself. A midwayer, a being that's invisible, broke an apostle out of jail because the apostle was so crucial to the cause. Now, I'm not here saying that's what's going to happen to you, but that's, I guess, if I had to come forward, that is the vision that I would be having in my soul when coming forward. I'm not expecting a midwayer to break me out of jail because there's consequences, but if you're a whistleblower, doesn't matter the consequences. Come forward anyway, because like you said, that future reality that we're going to get to, and there's other people that come out to support you. Don't be afraid. Put that foot forward. I'm not saying get your kids killed either, but you got what I'm trying to say. There's a network of support out there for you, and you're not alone. And this is literally spiritual freedom fighting on a cosmic scale. So I don't know if you've seen Andor from Star Wars. You're like Andor, you're part of the,
you're at the heart of the rebellion.
Exactly. The positive rebellion.
Positive rebellion.
Yeah, because we throw that word around so much, but the Star Wars rebellion, the good guys. So yeah, it's dirty, it's harsh down here, but someone's got to do it, right?
Is 2025 2026 the beginning of a new hope? the ET revelations.
You're right. This
Are
could
we
be
gonna
it.
finally blow up the Death Star, which has all the UFO secrets?
So George Lucas was remote viewing into the future, and he was seeing 2025. He didn't mean a galaxy far, far away. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. He meant, I don't know, different 20 years from now. That's what he meant. 30, 40, 50 years from now. That's exciting. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure you guys didn't know that we're going to Contact in the Desert in a couple days. So now you guys know we will be live streaming from the event. We wanted to set this up because we're just having a little fun pre-streaming. We might pause right now to go get some food, but we're probably gonna jump into another live stream later. So we hope this tickled your fancy for the moment. You guys want to keep going, or do you want to take a food break?
Yeah, I'm cool to call it now,
Yeah,
and
okay.
then we can either come back later tonight, maybe set up another scene with a little bit better lighting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Sorry
Yeah, we
about
got some
that.
options. So this is good to. We're just kind of loosening. We're loosening our veins, loosening our lips, because we're gonna be talking a lot. We're gonna be meeting a lot of people at Contact in the Desert. We're gonna be handing out some fire business cards that I spend a lot of time designing and laying out.
Next time we go live, we'll put up a little so they can see what the
Please,
business cards look like.
if you're, if you're one of the 3 people watching this and you happen to be going to Contact in the Desert,
Hit us
find
up.
our booth.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a lot of fun, and let me list off some bullet points of why you should check out the Urantia book and take it seriously. We have the best Anunnaki ancient alien story that actually puts it in full context.
HD 8K.
Yep. We ain't looking at old Sitchin, old scrolls trying to do a unique translation to figure out what the ancient aliens were about. We taken this information allegedly directly from the higher ups, the angelic record of Earth's ancient history. Your ancient book has a unique backstory. I'm not trying to prove to anyone that it was humans or angels that wrote it. The quality or the book should sell itself based on the information, not the claims of divinity, or it's not even trying to be like a divine book. It's just like, hey, here it is.
Thinking about what, like,
It breaks the fourth wall. But anyway, my point is, we got the best Anunnaki story.
Yep.
We have the best, like, if you want to understand
Adam and Eve story.
well, yeah. Well, you say Adam and Eve, and that might kind of like make you back up, like, oh, Judeo-Christian ancient history myths, but like, it's actually more. It explains how did humans become so differentiated from the other animal species here? Like, how did we rise in intelligence? And the Adam and Eve story is actually part of the extraterrestrial landings to add new genetic capacity to humanity. And like, you have not heard this angle before. 100%. So that story is super crucial to understanding Earth's history and interaction of non-human intelligence with the planet.
Oh yeah.
Those are like
hot
two really
sex
big
stories in there too.
some interesting, yeah, I guess you could say. It got kind of wild. The Nephilim, we got the best Nephilim story.
Exactly, yeah.
There you go. The Christians
sons
think
of God
that was
went to the
angels
daughters of men.
and humans copulating, but like it was a little bit different. And we just did a live stream on that. So
How is an angel gonna have sex with a human? Come on. It's clearly an ET. Oh yeah, I forgot. We just talked about that. Go watch the last live stream.
Book of Enoch, the Watchers weren't angels. Please watch that. It'll tie together a bunch of things for you. But yeah, that's kind of all I got here. Anything else?
No, we'll be back later tonight. Stay tuned. I hope we tickled your fancy. I got full of energy. We're gonna eat some pizza.
Yeah,
and keep
we
going,
both had
so.
naps, so
Yeah, we're literally
Staying
gonna
up
hop
late.
back into it. So stay up with us. We love you guys. We're in California time right now because we're in SoCal, baby. See you in a bit.
the remote.